the one to watch. This is 16 WAPT News live at 5.
Deadly airport shooting. A gunman killed a TSA agent at LAX. Now investigators scramble to find a motive. Plus an arrest in the Moon Street murders.
What happened in the house?
A day after someone found 4 bodies in a Jackson neighborhood. And millions of food stamp recipients will have less money starting today. The major change for SNAP benefits.
What a beautiful start to the month of November. A gorgeous Friday. Look at this live shot. This is our Capitol Tower sky cam. Crystal clear skies. Look at the deep blue to that sky. It's going to be a great night for high school football. Temperatures going to be dropping into the 40s. The question, can this terrific weather last all weekend long? And I'll answer that coming up.
Thank you, David. Live at 5, a deadly shooting at Los Angeles International Airport. I'm Darren Dito.
I'm Stephanie Maxwell. The gunman killed a TSA agent and injured several more people. He walked in with an automatic weapon and started shooting, causing a mass evacuation of the airport. Here's what we know right now. Police say the gunman is 23-year-old Paul Ciancia. An officer shot the gunman, who's now in police custody. About 12 shots were fired in the shootout at about 9:20 a.m. on the West Coast. Investigators believe he acted alone in the shootout in Terminal 3.
The sound of it was so loud that the first time someone thought a bomb had gone off. I would think there were at least 8 shots.
What was happening around you?
Just pure and utter mayhem. I mean, people were tripping over each other on the floor, bags everywhere, crying, screaming.
We are told medical units were very quick to respond to those victims. Now, we reached out to Jackson's airport. Spokesperson Bonnie Wilson says there has been no disruption to flights so far. To stay updated on this shooting, make sure you go to our website. It's WAPT.com. Well, Darren, an arrest has been made in the Moon Street murders in Jackson.
That's right, Stephanie. A 31-year-old man has been arrested in connection with those murders. 16 WAPT's Tammy Eswick is live at 5. And Tammy, you saw that suspect after his arrest.
That's right. Now, Darren, detectives say surveillance video at the victim's home actually led them to their suspect. Take a look right here. You're looking at that suspect, Javondis Beasley. Now, we were the only crew rolling as Beasley left the courthouse today.
Javondis, what happened in the house? What happened in the house? Police say that you killed those 3 people. Is that true?
No, ma'am.
What happened?
Police charged Beasley with 3 counts of murder. Now, detectives found 3 victims shot in the head inside of a home on Moon Street. Right next door, a 4th body, a man stabbed to death. Police say Beasley has not been charged in that death.
The weapon has not yet been recovered, but the home at 175 Moon was equipped with a camera system. The camera system revealed evidence that would implicate Mr. Beasley as our only suspect.
Now, Darren, a municipal judge denied Beasley bond today. Tonight, police still searching for that murder weapon.
And Tammy, do police have a motive yet?
We believe they do, but they're not sharing that with us yet. They say their investigation continues.
All right, stay on top of it for us.
Will do.
Thank you, Tammy. Appreciate it. Well, Stephanie, big cuts to the food stamp program here in Mississippi.
Yeah, Darren, 47 million Americans who rely on food stamps will receive less money. That's starting today. A temporary boost in benefits has expired, and Congress is considering cutting that program even more. 16 WAPT's Sally Kidd is live in Washington with who wants those cuts. Good evening, Sally.
Good evening, Stephanie. The food stamp program is being targeted by House Republicans who say the $80 billion a year price tag is just too high.
That's all I'm going to need right now.
Alton Blagman is disabled and dependent on food stamps and the generosity of a local food pantry.
The tuna's good.
Blagman says he found out today that his food stamp benefit has been cut to 0 for the month of November.
By taking stuff like food stamps away, there's no help. So what do we do?
A 2009 temporary increase in the food stamp program, officially known as SNAP, has expired. The USDA says that means a family of 4, for example, will receive $36 less a month.
92% of the people receiving SNAP are either senior citizens, people with disabilities, children, or people who are already in the workforce.
Additional cuts are included in separate farm bills passed by the House and Senate, but the two chambers are far apart on how much to cut. This week, a conference committee began work to reconcile the differences.
The reforms are really about getting the program back to putting it back on a prudent course.
Critics of the program point out it has more than doubled in cost since 2008. They say it needs an overhaul.
This isn't about cutting people off, but reform should be based on promoting work for those who are able-bodied, to work or at least look for work.
Now, there's also disagreement over how long the program should be extended. Senate Democrats want a 5-year extension. House Republicans say it should be 3 years. Live in Washington, Sally Kidd, 16 WAPT News. Stephanie.
All right, Sally, thank you so much. Mississippians will be feeling that squeeze. 20.7%, the highest in the country, use food stamps and EBT benefits. This represents a meteoric rise from 2010, when only 8.4% of Mississippians use food stamps. Well, Darren, the feds say help is on the way to fix that healthcare website that's been disastrous.
Well, it certainly has, Stephanie. The White House says some extra eyes are on the way to help out at healthcare.gov. Now, this comes after an announcement that tech titans Google, Oracle, and others would be joining an effort to fix the site. White House Press Secretary Jay Carney says there are people working around the clock to improve the public's experience with the website.
Nobody is more upset than my boss, the President of the United States, with the fact that the website hasn't been working well. And that's why he's made sure that we have, really smart people, extra eyes, extra brains on this problem, working 24 hours a day to improve the user experience.
People nationwide have struggled logging on and registering with the site. Officials say it could be another month before the website runs smoothly. The U.S. Supreme Court convened today to consider if they will hear an appeal from a former Mississippi KKK member convicted in the 1964 slayings of 3 civil rights workers. Edgar Ray Killen claims that his constitutional rights were denied during his trial in the state. He is currently serving 60 years in prison after being convicted of manslaughter in 2005 for the deaths of Michael Schwerner, Andrew Goodman, and also James Chaney back in 1964. There has been no official decision yet, but one is expected in the very near future. Well, Stephanie, tonight Jackson police are working an early morning shooting.
Yeah, Darren, police say it happened just after 4 this morning on Eastview Street. One man was shot in both legs. He was taken to the hospital. His injuries are considered non-life-threatening. If you can help with this case, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 601-355-TIPS. There could be some traffic delays early next week in Jackson. Public Works leaders announced the 1200 block of Cooper Road will be closed beginning Monday at 8 a.m. City crews will be there to replace a cross drain. The block is expected to be closed for 2 days. An investigation into a rape reported at Kappa Sigma fraternity at Southern Miss has been completed, and that case will now be handed over to prosecutors. No one has been charged in the case. The alleged incident took place in the early hours of October 13th, and investigators say the female was an acquaintance of the suspect. Well, Darren, a Meridian house fire sent 4 people to the hospital, including 2 children.
Yeah, Stephanie, that house fire happened about 9:30 this morning along Highway 45 North. Now, there are reports, as you said, the 2 children, and they have burns to 90% of their body and were immediately rushed to the burn unit. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the fire. Stay with 16 WAPT and WAPT.com for the latest information as those victims recover. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel is criticizing U.S. states that refuse to issue Defense Department IDs and benefits to same-sex spouses of military members at the National Guard. Mississippi is one of 9 states cited by the Pentagon who do not give out those benefits. Hagel believes that the states are violating a new federal law that granted same-sex spouses of military members equal benefits in September. Stephanie, I know the calendar says November 1st, but some folks are still celebrating Halloween tonight.
Yeah, of course, because of yesterday's rain, and that forced many people to skip the trick-or-treating. But tonight, kiddos in Clinton and Flowood who missed out yesterday will get their chance to go out tonight. Tomorrow, Metro Center Mall will be hosting Harvest Festival. And hey, it is Friday, which means more of the top high school football coverage in the state. Tonight's game of the week features Canton, fresh off a major win last week, battling Germantown. Let's go live to 16 WAPT's Ray Coleman, who's at our Dr. Pepper tailgate. Hey, Ray.
Hey, Stephanie, thank you so much. A lot on the line for both teams tonight in our Sonic game of the week. Currently, right now, Canton holds the fourth and final spot in that playoff race of Region 2-5A, while Germantown is currently on the outside looking in the sixth spot. Here's the latest on how both teams got to this point. The Tigers won the season opener, then proceeded to lose 5 in a row before going on a 3-game win streak in the district, including last week's 15-14 upset over then unbeaten Callaway. The host team, Mavericks, have won its last 2 contests, but before the loss, 3 district games in a row, digging themselves into a bit of a hole. Now both teams have talked about the highs and lows and how it will affect tonight's game.
It meant a lot. It gave us a confidence boost to go in the game, do what we got to do, go in the playoffs and do what we got to do in the playoffs.
I mean, I think we all like to be able to fight a little bit and have to actually work for something instead of just kind of riding into it, and it's made us come closer as a team this year.
All right, only the top 4 teams make it out of each region, which means that a loss tonight basically eliminates Germantown. Coming up at 6, you'll hear about the emotions in the East locker room from both teams, Canton and Germantown. But for now, we're live at Germantown High School. Ray Coleman, 16, WAPT Sports.
All right, Ray, thank you so much. And be sure to join us at 11:37 for Blitz 16 as Aslan, Ray, and Mike give you the most in-depth highlights, scores, and interviews from tonight's action. All right, let's turn it over to David now. The rain's out of here. Looking good for high school football.
Well, you know, Ray's out there having a good time. High school football Friday, and be prepared for it to cool down. It is nice now. Kickoff temperature, let's see what it is. Under clear skies, right around 7 o'clock, 60 degrees, so temperatures will be falling into the 50s. That's not too bad, a little on the cool side, and I don't expect much wind. Tomorrow, there is going to be a wind, and it's going to be cooler over the weekend. We'll talk about the weekend and what's ahead for next week coming up.
All right, David, thanks. Secretary of State John Kerry is speaking out on spying allegations, his surprising words. And disgraced former Penn State assistant coach Jerry Sandusky is asking for an appeal. You're watching 16 WAPT Live at 5.